Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a fantastic first 15 minutes look at World of Fishing. Yes, this exists. There's an MMO of fishing. It is glorious. I don't have the true and utter meaning words to say about this game. It's an MMO where you go fishing. I was a huge fan of Sega Bass Fishing whenever I was a kid. I love fishing games. For no reason other than they're just a really chilled out experience with a lot of stress in just the moment that you catch something. So I loaded up a character, created one in this game. I've already gone through the tutorial bit because it's a little bit boring. You kind of simple controls. You use your WASD to maneuver your boat. You have a few clickable things, and whenever I ran through the tutorial, I received these bits and pieces in my inbox, which is basic tools that you need. Underwater cameras for checking out the food. Checking out the fish. Essentially, a fuel for your engine, and then of course a navigator that allows you to move from location to location and quick travel after you've unlocked a few places. It's really simple what this game does. You cast out your line, you select your bait, you select your gear, and you go off to sea and essentially fish for things. I mean, you just can go into a freestyle kind of like open free roaming area where you can just wander around fishing, which is the main part of the game. The only area that's available is Asia North whenever you start off, and then it's limited to a couple of basic islands. But the only thing I found was that this game doesn't actually have that big of a player base, which I'm assuming it might be because of the time I'm actually playing it at, or locations of where it's being played. The only thing I saw whenever I went into the freestyle and took a look around was essentially a very small amount of servers. Like, I tried to refresh it a couple of times, went into the one first channel, and there was like one German game that was already open, but it had a full team. It was a full 8 people. So this is actually kind of like a small action RPG-esque kind of situation. It's not full MMO. I mean, it's an online RPG that has small groups of rooms that people play in with 8 fishers at once. So I just set it up for 8 fishers, default settings, didn't really care too much about it, and I'm going to start up. You see on the berth that there's actually a number of spaces for different boats to show into, which allows you to get to see what everybody looks like and what gear they're using. So being like a level 1 character, I'm assuming there's not going to be that many people joining in with me, but I wanted to take a look in the first area you can find, so you can see all the way to the berths there. Nobody really in them, so let's just get started. It's the music in this game is fun to listen to. The location is like the look of it, the style is a bit oldish, I suppose, but I mean it's water textures and boats, and the aesthetic and the location feels really comfortable. I do find that the GUI is a little bit over-cluttered though. The fact that the GUI is a little bit busy is the way to describe it, because I'm looking around, I'm not too sure where everything is that I'm looking for. Essentially, the mini-map allows you to jump into a space and see where like the main fishing points that have been used before are. I'm assuming you could probably quick travel to them or teleport whenever you've actually got locations memorized or locked in. But whenever you travel from place to place, the active fish in the area change. Essentially, their spawn points are different, and you can see that in the top right corner. It just changed whenever I move from spot to spot. The fish information, I'm sure, is very real and correct for fish that are in that location and space, and I'm not too sure if it's going to help me too much to look up and read about them, but I'm sure it'll actually like tell me what the difficulty levels of catching certain kinds of fish whenever I'm such a low-level character. There's a lot of very calm traveling in this game. It's just you feel a bit of solitude and a bit of loneliness, but there's other people who just jump into your game. This guy is Mikanye. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it might be something to do with fish sticks, his name. Somebody's probably not taking it all that seriously, but it's a nice experience to have somebody else follow along or be playing in the same area as you, while you try and search for places to drop your anchor and cast out your rod. I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of long travel because your boat moves fairly slowly in this, and you have to keep an eye on your fuel gauge to kind of tell when you're going to be going from place to place. So I kind of like fold up to the spot and just thought, right, I'll just cast out, see where I can throw my rod, because you can get a further distance and stuff of like better rods and better lines. And whenever you do cast your rod, this is what you'll see. Admittedly, yeah, advertising is one of the first things I end up seeing whenever the camera turn around to look at that ad. I mean, I don't know if that's intentional, but it's fairly irrelevant because there is a pay store in this, and I'll look it up in a wee while. Yeah, obviously, I didn't get a proper chance to show you that underwater cam, but this is the mechanics of the game. This is actually how you capture your fish. You worry about the tension in your rod, you wind it in, you can flick the rod as you wind it to kind of like try and tire out your enemy fish better and do it a little bit faster. The fish energy pretty much is what controls whether or not you can pull him in or if he's going to fight you, and what puts the tension on the line. And the tension gets to full, it'll actually snap the line and you lose the fish, obviously. But in most cases, especially the lower level fish, you'll just wear them out until they just give up and you can just wind them in, which is every fishing game. In fact, do you know what this game has a lot in common with? Has anybody ever played Sonic Adventure? Because it does kind of remind me of the Big the Cat fishing game, because it's very, very simplified. Now, whenever I caught my first fish, it did add me to add a wiki of fish that can be caught in each area, and I can see for somebody who's actually into fishing and actually likes the completionism and the kind of bird watching element of this, would sit there and fill that whole thing and get all the bonuses, which I assume includes items and gear and money and in-game currency and that kind of thing, and of course prestige. But the yeah, here we go. So I can actually finally show you the underwater cam. The fish underwater, like that kind of static thing, there's nothing you can do once your line's been cast. You literally are just waiting, and things like this will come immediately by. So whenever you're trying to catch the fish, you have to kind of yank the rod to hook them whenever the water bob is actually pulling underneath the water. In this particular case, the fish was fast and immediately kind of swam toward me. I thought I was going to get a really good opportunity to get him yanked out of the water, but no, it was actually, he pulled himself underneath the boat and I lost it. I lost the line and it just snapped off, which was a little bit depressing, but it's cool that the fish themselves are teaching me the mechanics really, really quickly on in this, because now I know that I have to need to navigate my boat, I have to need to turn it to keep the fish in front of me, which was me testing it out there now, just kind of turning myself around. And of course, there's replay tickets or retry tickets if you're like really trying to get a certain kind of fish. You can buy them in the premium store. I'm not too sure if... Hey there, Mikanye. Thanks for coming up and joining us. I didn't even notice him coming up behind me whenever I was sitting there, but he obviously came and joined me in the same spot that I'm in. So yeah, it was kind of nice. Kind of nice to have a fishing buddy next to you. Admittedly, I don't know much about the etiquette of fishing, but fishing in the same spot as someone, so that's why I wanted to try and cross the lines and block his shot if I could, or try and throw my line into the same spot that his was in, because whatever he finds, I'll find. Maybe in the same spot, in the same space, if he's actually using the same bait as me, which I assume he is because he's a level 1. Now you can see that there's basic weather changes in the game. It's coming up cloudy in the background of that. You can see the darkness. Imagine that weather system kind of passes by and you will get rain, and you'll find that it affects what kind of fish are nearby. I don't think that it ever goes as far as to actually give full storminess and rock your boat around, but I haven't got the opportunity to play that deep into the wonderful rabbit hole that is World of Fishing. So yeah, here's me going for my third fish. Caught my first, lost my second, and of course Mikanye catching his first of the night in the same spot. So hopefully I get a decent one out of this, unless he's actually using... by watching the fish energy bar and seeing how quickly it's losing its energy, I can almost tell that it's a light fish, it's a small fish. I'm starting to get into this now, I'm starting to figure it out, and it's a little minnow. A wee sea chub. The EXP and the item gains that you get from it, like that fortune card, I don't quite know what the application is, but it'd be nice to know. But the grade of the fish, the weight of the fish, everything plays into the EXP you get from that, which in this case was just enough to hit me up onto level 2 after just like 3 fish. I'm assuming the game kind of like slows you whenever you get up to the higher levels, or like once you hit a break of like 10 or 15 or 20. But the basic attributes that you go up with is strength, endurance, and concentration. That's your 3 stats for the entire game. And every level up you get a certain number of points to spend on it. I must have been going for, I suppose, a concentration and endurance build, but I just wanted to throw some stuff into the strength as well to kind of level myself up. You can see how many slots there is on the character that affects everything from your hook, to your rod, to your clothing, to your hat, to your all this stuff actually affects reasonably well, including the skills and tools that you have on your boat, which would be the speed of the outboard motor, whether or not it's actually a giant-ass goddamn ship or a little schooner. even that extra bit of fuel I got there from starting the wiki, it means that I could ride around in this thing for ages. So I'm trying to think of what was the best thing to do next. I mean, I've caught a few fish. I've cast it out a few times. I might as well try and see if I can catch something in the spot. One thing I noticed was whenever you're casting out in the game is that if you cast out to where there is already a fish, at the moment you cast, the location respawns. So I think it's like an instant kind of thing every single time your line hits the water. So it changes what's floating about in there. What you can see in the shadows isn't exactly what is beneath. Which I tried to avoid using the cameras because you only have a limited amount of them. But I was sorely tempted this time again. But you can just sit and wait like any traditional fisherman and wait to see a limey snag caught. Because I can see that, of course, McCanny caught another one while I was still waiting. So yeah, there's like if you think about the fish that I caught, the first one I caught was actually a level 4 fish. They got over leveled fish that I caught in this area. So the fish combat in this is skill based as well as a little bit random because like how the fish reacts. But if you can keep control of the fish and wear it out and work with it, you could catch a much higher level fish than you're meant to be able to. If you can pull it off and get away with it. It's only 14 seconds to catch an armor-clad rockfish. I know what I'm doing in this, man. I got this shit down. I am ready to fish. But I do need to actually kind of level up my gear, so I had to check out the store. And this is where I kind of got a little bit annoyed because the currency in the game is either shells or pearls. And the pearls are, of course, the purchase currency within the game. And all I could see was just items that you can buy for pearls at level 1. And going through every section, everything appears to be pearls at the lower levels. So, of course, I need to kind of like take a deeper look into this. Because if the store only has purchasable pearl items, then this is a pay to win. But of course, I found the consumables that actually had things that ran in shells. So you can change your bait, you can change some basic bits and pieces of tools with the shells at this low level, which makes a lot of sense. These are the functional things that make you a better fisherman in the game. These are the things that you can actually purchase with in-game currency and things that actually will allow you to continue to play. While the clothing appears to be a much more cosmetic thing. And to offer level 1 items that were pearls encourages the whales of playing these kind of games. Whales of fish, well those are mammals. The whales of these games to spend their money to customize a character very early on, which is completely understandable. But the moment you take away the pearls, you can see that it starts at level 5. Level 5, level 10, level 15, and the prices for the gear isn't that expensive. And you saw how quickly I went up to level 2, so I weigh it up in my head that the level 1 items that are like this are really just for the people who just kind of want to look good from the very beginning. While the actual gainable items and changes you can make to your character from level 5 onwards, up to level 20, 40, 60, are actually encouraging you to enjoy the gameplay rather than trying to leech you for cash, which is a great combination. I already find this a relaxing game. I would never imagine to try and stress about paying for in-game currency. I just rather enjoy the moment of relaxing, just chilled out fishing, you know? Just that zen moment of just letting go and letting time pass as you catch stuff. I mean, this game already feels like something that I could sit down and play again, even though I'm only kind of like taking a first 15 minutes look. I already know that I will play this game again. Maybe not in this moment in time whenever I'm busy doing a lot of things, but whenever I have that relaxation time where I just want to sit down and zone out, especially if I was watching a show or if it's something that I was actually kind of like working through my YouTube list, this seems like a very, very good way to kind of just like learn about new fish, see the details of what they're like, and just be in the water, you know? It's a good game. I can't fault it. Alright, honestly, the gameplay is very simple. As you can see, this is all I caught in like the 13 minutes I was playing in this particular session. Guys, I can't say that this game is going to change your life in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't seem to have that big of an audience of people playing it all the time. So all I can say is like, go and take it a try. Bring a couple of friends, because it'll be a lot more enjoyable experience. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.